So now it's coming to light. On CNN, somebody said that the people that's causing the looting and causing the riots, you guessed it. Yeah, please remember to like, subscribe, share this channel, and also leave a comment. I love to read comments and to respond back. So once again, like, subscribe, share this channel, leave a comment. And if you need to reach out to me, you can reach me at the Marc Perspective at gmail.com. So, all right. So let's get down to business. Dana Bash had a host. I cannot remember her name. And I was trying to find a video of, which she exactly said, but she said mostly Compton has predominantly blacks living out there in, California and in the LA area. And she said that the sheriff told her that the people in Compton are causing all the problems and the looting and so forth, which is funny because most of the blacks are not participating in these riots. Not because they think that it's stupid. It's because, once again, these strange ones have a different take on things. Like, they're talking about when they were trying to fight for justice and equality. Very stupid. But this is immigration, and these people are illegal. And to sit here and say you're going to run out in the streets when blacks need to realize that we're about to become fourth in population. We're not going to have a voice. We're not going to have that strength that we used to have. We went from being number 2, and by 2065, we will be number 4. And they really need to let that sink into their heads, because they're not looking at the big picture. But the sad part is that whenever problems arise, the easiest ones to blame, yes, are blacks. And you know why? Because we do it to ourselves, because we do dumb stuff. And because we do dumb stuff, when something actually happens where we're not involved, it's easy to point the finger, because we're constantly doing stuff that we're not supposed to do, but you can hear some blacks screaming and hollering because they're not happy that we're being blamed for this. But they need to look at why it's so easy for us to be blamed.
When in doubt, point the blacks out. When in doubt, point the blacks out. That Mexican lady got on TV and said that it was the black people who were rioting and looting. The black people who came out there to help them protest. Said it was the black people who were rioting and looting. They were being peaceful. First of all, I thought everyone got the memo that this was not our battle. This is not our fight, it is yours. And we were sitting at home, minding our business, with our boots on the ground, practicing our line dances for the summertime fine. And she got up there and said that it was us rioting and looting. This is why you were supposed to keep your ass in the house. Because if you was in the house and it was none of us out there, they could not point the finger at us. So whoever hard-headed self is out there, get your ass back in the house, because we know it wasn't you. But now you out there and they can point at you. Get your ass in the house, oh hard-headed ass.
So this Hispanic lady got on CNN News and said all the looters and like the negative protesters and the people who was destroying businesses and fighting the cops and hitting the cops and throwing stuff at the cops were black people only. It was not Mexicans. And that's the reason why a lot of black people don't want to help out there, because that would be a whole setup. Say that a lot of us did go out there, we'd be blamed for everything. Like, we always get blamed for everything. And you could count on your 5 hands right now how many black people's out there. Like as you watch the news, you could just see what race is really out there. And that's just crazy. Like, I didn't have no problem help protesting, but all that looting and stealing and stuff, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that. And we're not a part of that, and we still get blamed for it. It's crazy.
It again. Y'all can't blame us. We ain't out there robbing shit and looting and doing the crazy shit that y'all doing. So the lady on CNN that said that, oh, that's not the Latinos and shit like that, that's the black people that came out there. No, sweetheart, we at home. I'm at home enjoying the fruits of my labor. I feel like I'm more safer at home because when we was going through what we was going through, y'all motherfuckers wasn't nowhere to be found. So why the fuck would I be out there helping y'all? I'm just keeping it 100. I'm just keeping it 100. Y'all got it. Y'all handling it. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Even if we were to help y'all, it's just going to get worse. Them motherfuckers is not playing with y'all. They is not playing with y'all. They shooting y'all with the fucking beanbag guns and shit, and that shit hurt. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not out there, sweetie. We at home. Some of us gotta work. Some of us gotta take care of our kids. We gotta handle our business. So, and I'm making sure I make this video respectful as possible because TikTok is real sensitive and they already took my other video down for harassment and bullying. So I'm not harassing or bullying nobody. We at home. You can't blame us.
So it's not that we are always getting blamed for things and we're not doing anything. No, we do it. We do a lot of stuff and always coming up playing the victim. So it's easy to point the finger at a certain race because they're constantly doing something. So yes, this lady was wrong. However, it was easy to point the finger because we're constantly doing stuff. Now, here's my problem is that illegal immigration is against the law. So why would we sit there and say we're fighting for them when illegal immigration, which was started by Lyndon B. Johnson and the Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1965 was created, which caused problems for the black community? Why would you support that? Why would you be for that? I don't get it. It baffles me up to.
We had a panel of experts who testified, and they spanned the ideological spectrum. Each and every one of them agreed that illegal immigration has a decidedly negative impact on black wage levels and employment levels. If you've got a significant influx of low-wage labor, what does it do? It depresses wage levels, correct? Illegal immigrants displace black workers in areas that had traditionally been populated by black workers. And the reason for that is because what you find is black workers, particularly black males, are disproportionately concentrated in the low-wage labor market and are disproportionately likely to have no more than a high school diploma. And the same is true for the cohort of illegal aliens, and they compete with one another in areas such as construction, hospitality, service, and agriculture. We had one witness who testified that after he had run the numbers, he found that 40% of the decline in labor participation rates among black workers over 3 decades was attributable to competition from illegal immigration. It comes to nearly 1 million fewer jobs for black Americans as a result of the competition from illegal immigrants. And it's not just the employment levels, it's the wage levels also. But we had evidence from the Fed in Atlanta, which did a study on this, to show that illegal immigrants depressed wages by $960 on average, but in certain sectors, such as the hospitality industry, the depression of wage levels was $1,560. And because black workers were disproportionately concentrated in those areas, they were disproportionately affected.
The mainstream media goes out of its way to avoid the topic of the role that exploding levels of immigration, legal and illegal, plays in the deplorable social and economic conditions of Native Black Americans who populate the nation's urban centers. While these immigrants provide a level of cheap labor that benefits business owners who employ them, immigration negatively impacts the working class and Black Americans in particular. 50 plus years of unfettered immigration has had a devastating impact on black urban communities, helping to widen an already almost irreversible chasm between wealth and poverty. American policy has historically allowed the massive influx of low-skilled foreign labor to displace native blacks in the workforce. Also, most current black leaders have no desire or are afraid to call this reality into question. However, recent events at the border make this issue hard to ignore, and we must address it as often as possible to reframe the narrative to one that reflects the dire nature of the situation on the ground. As early as 1895, Booker T. Washington recognized the negative impact of immigration on native black workers and addressed it in his famous Atlanta Exposition Address. He pushed his audience of powerful white industrialists to halt the importation of millions of workers from Europe to fill factory jobs created by the Industrial Revolution. Washington implored them to put down your bucket where you are and to cast their lot with underemployed freed slaves and their descendants. They did not heed his request, and immigration continued to flourish.
So I wanted you to hear that. So even back then, blacks just didn't listen. And we would take the word of anybody and once again be made fools out of. As we are today, blacks are like probably some of the biggest fools out there because we're easy to be manipulated. We get so emotional that we'll fall for anything. And it's pretty sad. You got this Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1965, which took the quotas off. Now, before that, it was more like kind of racist because they were taking people from Europe, but if you were from Asia, Africa, and so forth, you had a harder time coming into the country. Well, now with these quotas removed, now they're just bringing everybody in. But what failed to realize is that the more of the illegal immigrants that's pouring into the country, because now they made it much easier for illegal immigrants to come into this country. When the illegal immigrants come in, then you have a problem because now it gets into the job force. And if you could pay an illegal immigrant less money, then the business would rather hire them than the American-born worker. A lot of blacks, especially black men, were basically in those industries, which were low income, low wage industries, and a lot of the illegal immigrants are willing to do those kind of work, but because of that, now those blacks are finding themselves being pushed out. And because most black men lack the education, because remember, Democrats made it possible for black women to get all the education, and they made it impossible for black men to get the education. Don't believe me? Do your homework. So now black men can't get those high paying jobs because the majority of the black men are working in those low wage industry. This is why I say black men are the poorest in America. But these politicians and these fake, phony black leaders are not here to help you. They're here to fill their pockets and to tell you a bunch of phony baloney. The Michael Eric Dyson, the Mark Lamont Hills, the Al Sharpton. These people are a bunch of fakes, okay? And we need to call it like it is. They're fakes. And please, we need to stop worshiping them. We will worship a criminal before we worship a real hero, okay? These people are not heroes. They are bad for blacks here in America. And they're continuing to keep the racism going because they need something to fill their pockets. They need a narrative so that they can stay relevant. While us, we fall for it. And then what do we get at the end? Nothing. And we keep supporting Democrats, and what do we get? Nothing.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. And it is an honor, actually, that they endorsed Dr. Martin Luther King and were against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's actually an honor.
Y'all realize all of your civil rights actors was part of the Black Boule? Rosa Parks was in a sorority, bro. Huey P. Newton was Sigma Pi Phi. Martin Luther King was Boule, bro. Marcus Garvey was Boule, bro. Break it down. And the ones that wasn't Boule got killed faster. But it just goes to, why am I saying this? Because they gave us all of our rights as civil rights leaders. Everybody who was fighting against the system, they gave them to us. W.E. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington ass niggas gave us the blueprint, a false blueprint. That's why I said they selling us fake programs, bro. Y'all gotta really listen to my music, what I be saying, bro. A lot of people think I just be putting words together because you at a lower vibration. You can't understand my word jumbo. But why would they give us a whole whitewash history and make us be mad at white people, bro? Oh, the white man. Because it gets you looking this way the whole time while they can be right next to you. Yeah, the white man, yeah. While we taking everything, bro. It's about families and last names, bro. That's what the Matrix is about, bro. This shit is crazy.
So as you can see, blacks are being blamed for the looting and riots happening in LA over this immigration, the immigration policy of President Trump. And so far, like, not one single black leader, one single black politician spoke up or said something. They're all scurrying. You know why? Because they were paid by the Democratic Party to support illegal immigration or Immigration Act, saying that, this country's open, everybody's more than welcome. No, it's causing problems. And this is why I keep telling, and black men, man, grow some balls, man. We are like at the bottom of the totem pole. We're like there at we're the crabs, and we want to keep everybody, but they, for some reason, know how to kick us to the curb. Like, we can't pull them back. We are hurting. Black men, once again, are one of the poorest in America. And if you guys don't get your act together, we're not only going to be the poorest, we're going to be irrelevant. Okay? The only thing we can do is play sports or tap dance and entertain. Be like Chris Brown. Chris Brown sing and dance all over the place. Now, let's have Chris Brown sit down and have a logical conversation about policies, about things. And I bet you Chris Brown will disappear. He'll probably dance his way right off the stage because we can't do it. So it's easy to be blamed. It's easy to be blamed for anything because we did this to ourselves. We allowed ourselves to be manipulated so that all of this can happen. The Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1965 has caused problems for blacks, especially black men. The trial period that they did with socialist program caused problems for us. And if, like I said, if we don't get ourselves together, everybody's going to blame us for something. Okay? Well, I should have another video coming out today. I just got to figure out the content. I will look at the news and see what's going on. Please remember, like, subscribe, share this video, and please leave a comment below. If you really need to reach me, you can reach me at themarcperspective@gmail.com. I'm always ready to answer questions. Please let me know how you feel about this situation, because I say, we did it to ourselves, even though it was wrong that this lady would blame blacks for the looting. However, Once again, we did it to ourselves, and we don't have the backbone to stand up for what's right. All we do is play the victim. Take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll have another video out for you guys, hopefully today. Peace.